So, when you're having or living through and with identity shifts for whatever reason, right? Maybe it's that you come to understand something about your own identity and it changes, or grief and loss can cause identity shifts because we're not able to fulfill a role that maybe that played in our identity. Like, for instance, when I lost my daughter, I was still a mother to my son, but he graduated shortly after and started college, and so it was like my identity of active mothering, like with young ones at home, was upended. My sense of self in the world was completely destroyed. So lots of events can cause us to go through identity shifts. And 5 things that you can do to support yourself through this process is: number 1, work with a therapist, right? And you want a healthy, loving therapist that is going to support you in that identity shift. And no one gets to tell you what your identity is. And so if you are working with someone or have anyone in your life that is denying the identity shift or not supporting you in that, then those are people to avoid. They're people that we don't need in our lives, right? So see a therapist, and then explore personality, temperament, and perception. When our identity is shifting, that can go very much in line with, our personality, with our temperament, and with our perception of ourselves, of others, of the world. So when we go through radical changes, this often disrupts the way we see ourselves in the world. And so exploring these things is very helpful, right? You can't change your temperament, you come in with it. How you're nurtured really depends on how that looks later in life. And then your personality is your personality. And so go to the links attached to explore understanding your own personality, right? And sometimes these things can feel like they change. So take the test, right? And read it. And if it doesn't align, then take it again and maybe answer your questions more honestly. But they do tend to be very accurate when people take the time to really answer those questions honestly. So that all of those things can help as you're redefining yourself. They can root you into yourself and this person that you are now more fully. So explore those, see a therapist, spend some time in the cave of safety, because when our identity is shifting, we can often, it activates this lack of safety in our brain, right? Because we think we know ourselves, and then we think this is changing, and it is changing, and people treat us like we're the person we were, and it's complicated. And so all of those things can make us feel unsafe in the world. And so explore the safety page, but spend some time in your cave of safety. Create what your structure is like. Connect with wise old you who can and will get through all of this, right? Believing that we can is what we connect with when we connect with wise old us. So really spend some time in there, giving yourself whatever you need. If it's love, support, unconditional love, support, and understanding, the feeling of worth and value, a feeling connected and woven into the world and life. The cave can give you whatever you need. It's really the structure, and then whatever you need, you ask from wise old you to give that to you. And they willingly do, of course. So spend time in the cave of safety. It will really help you feel more rooted into yourself. And learn about the vagus nerve and the nervous system, because when we when our identity is shifting, lots of different things can push us off course, right? People or events, usually often people, can really push us off course. And so learning to listen in to your vagus nerve and the information that it is giving you about what state your nervous system is in is extremely helpful, because a lot of things, especially with an identity shift, when people approach us as though we are the person that we were before, it can really undermine us and activate that fight and flight response, right? Or the collapse into the hypo freeze. And so you want to be able to really fine tune your radar for listening into which state your nervous system is in, so that you then know which tools to bring in, right? Which tools are most helpful for you when you are either hyperactivated or hypoactivated or aroused. And practice mindfulness to just really allow all that you are to be seen, allowing without force, without control, without judgment, just gently allowing everything you think, feel, and sense, and allowing it to be seen, right? Then allowing it to move on. It's this just building the observer, the part of you that can just look at you and observe you as you are right now. So that will increase your felt sense of being very clear on who you are and very more aware of yourself. And focus is really helpful. And again, go to the focus page, because there's little details that really make this effective or not. But focus can interrupt the amygdala when it picks up a threat or perceives even a hint, a sniff of a threat. And also partly because the amygdala just whispers to the other parts of the brain. So practicing focus will help interrupt your amygdala once you know how your brain likes to focus. And it also stabilizes and balances the mind. And so you can use open heart practices to increase your felt sense of connection with other people who love you and reflect your beauty to you, and who you reflect their beauty to them, like not physical beauty, but inner, real beauty. That can be really helpful, because sometimes our identity shift causes us to feel disconnected from a lot of people that we might have been connected to before. And so that practice, open heart practices, will help you continue to build compassion for yourself and for others. And it also just helps you feel more woven into the world and woven into the tapestry of life, and as you are now. So those are the practices I would recommend. That's 3 of the 4. Quiet mind. When your mind is just racing or it's too loud in there, quiet mind practices give you a little, even more distance from your thoughts and feelings and sensations, and they can shift your mind into a quieter state, so that is less aroused. So you can use any of them, but that's the ways I would use them. And so those are your 5 things for living with and working with identity shifts.